bought a couple of packs of beer mats, and Valued were always there when they were sitting around, they were having a pint on a night time, they were seeing our logo. We got a lot of business on the back of that. The different you are, the more referrals, the more connections you'll get on the back of that.
People don't care about you. Like if we're brutally honest, they don't care about your business. They don't care about what qualifications you have. They care about you understanding them and how you like the things you're going to do for them. So, hey, welcome to this podcast. I'm with the amazing Stephen Paul. Stephen, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Hi Tom, yeah, I'm Stephen. I'm the founder and MD of Valued. I set Valued up back in 2011. It seems like a lifetime ago right now, but really enjoying being in this sector right now, and just seeing what the future holds.
Good to hear. I think a lot of people probably know that I'm a bit of a fangirl of yours. You know, you're one of the first accountants to really take on Xero, I think you're one of the only independent platinum partners in the Northeast, or were the only independent platinum partner. You've achieved a lot, I think it's fair to say. I think most people regard you in the industry really well. You obviously started with, I guess, kind of 0 leads. Is that fair? Yeah. So
Yep.
when you first started out, what were the things that you did to start building your audience and your practice?
Yeah, so my practice was created out of hardship, to be brutally honest. So I found out my mum had terminal cancer. I wanted to spend time with her. So I bought a block of fees from my old business partners. That worked really well. And I intended to grow by £20,000 a year. And that was it. I was going to close the door, nothing else. I remember 6 weeks later walking out of a client that had just signed up. It was £12,000 a year. Would hit the target. I was like, brilliant, I'll shut the doors. No, I won't shut the doors. Don't be silly. But actually what happened was, because we were different, because we cared, because we asked about the why and the purpose, and actually we were there for the accountants. As you mentioned, we were doing something totally different to what all the accountants at the time were doing. We ended up with so many referrals. And it was actually a case of referral after referral was coming through, and we were just growing like that. Now, ultimately, what you then need some new people coming in as well. And you needed the campaigns to be able to do that. And that's something that took us a long time to actually get right. But it's certainly what we're working on now. And it's really exciting for us.
Okay, cool. So, you said there that you growed a lot on referrals. Did you have any particular approach to referrals, or did they just kind of happen?
Definitely. To be honest, I remember years ago hearing it's a bit of a game. It's a game you should play with your clients. It's a game you should play with your contacts. And just say, have I done a good job for you? Yeah. Do you know anybody like you that you can recommend? No, I don't right now. But actually, what you're now doing is you're planting the seed with that client for them to go out and find somebody else like them, because they all know somebody. They just might actually take a week, a couple of weeks, and they will always come back with a referral. So one of the things that we did based on that was we actually asked the question. It's very basic, but we did. We don't do that as much as what we should do, and I think a lot of firms don't do that. But the other thing we did as well was we sent a survey out after every contact with a client. And every contact with a client, so year-end accounts, tax returns, management accounts, whatever it wasn't simply a phone call. We sent a survey out, said, how do you rate us? It was customer survey score there, customer satisfaction score. And on the very bottom, it had 2 questions. One question was, if we could do anything to help you, what would it be? The next question was, do you know anybody that actually you can help, you can introduce to us? So if it was a management account clients, 4 times a year, they were being asked that by the survey. They're also getting asked by us as well. But it made sure that they were always asked. Now, what that survey did was it actually had two aims. One was to find out how good we were, but also to find out what else we could do for a client, which give us the ability to upsell and cross-sell to those clients. Because all of a sudden the client said, I would love to know about X, Y, and Z. I would love to know about how I actually chase my debtors in, or how I can get more efficiencies. This was early doors Xero, before we had bank feeds. So there wasn't a huge amount of tech out there, but as the tech grew, we were able to fulfill all of these needs that the clients wanted, and it really worked for us. Other things that we did was networking. I went along to networking events and just again showed visibility of who we were, what we were. But we found that actually the more we went to networking, the more actually we were seeing the same people at different events. And there was only so many teas and coffees you could actually drink without getting anything back. So we
Yeah.
actually became very strategic about where we were asking for referrals in terms of the network and things as well. But another thing that we did as well, it was quite a quirky one to be brutally honest, was we actually went to a client, they were a pub, and we were after tradesmen at that point. So builders, plumbers, all of that sort of stuff, taxi drivers as well. So the smaller businesses, what we class the smaller businesses. And we actually said, if we buy some beer mats and put them in the pub, will you actually use them? Yeah, not a problem. So we bought a couple of packs of beer mats and valued were always there when they were sitting around, they were having a pint on a night time, they were seeing our logo. We got a lot of business on the back of that. To me, it was just about thinking differently and just being a bit different. Because actually, I'm 48 now, 49 this year. Wasn't that many years ago that the best we could do was advertising a newspaper, right? That was
Yeah.
all we were allowed to do at some point, right? Now you can do a lot more. You can be different. And I think the more different you are, the more referrals, the more connections you'll get on the back of that.
Yeah, and I think you've made some phenomenal points there. I think one of the things is like a lot of people sat here right now could take what you said about the referrals and all these other elements, and they might go, "Oh, do you know what that beer mat idea is absolutely phenomenal." But if they're like their business, say for example, I don't know, they look after business owners that don't drink. They're probably not going to be at pubs, or highly likely to
100%.
be not be at pubs. So that's not going to work for them. What you've done is being like, actually, we want this audience.
Yeah.
We know where they are.
Yeah.
And we're going to do something a little bit different, because I could not tell you any other accountant that has done that strategy. And I think now maybe with like QR codes, probably think you could probably revisit and go, can we do it again? Big QR code.
Yep.
I mean, we've all heard people complaining about their business finances, right? At a pub. That's where people do it. And
Yep.
imagine, they lift their drink up, they just spoke about it, and then boom, there you are, which I'm guessing happened with the one
Yep.
you had. But this time they've got a QR code that went boom to a landing page where they could buy a product straight away.
Definitely.
That's
Definitely. And that's something that
really
we've
cool.
done very recently, because we went to an event called Atomicon.
Yeah.
1,000 business owners that were all creative businesses. Yeah, so just around the creative industry. So there was all sorts of different things in there. We didn't want to go in and say we're accountants, because fundamentally half of them don't even want accountants. Half of them do it themselves, and the other half, well, they're sorted. They've got well-beaten accountants already. So we went in with the business mentoring. We went in with what keeps you awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden you find out, oh, actually chasing my cash in keeps me awake, worrying about my staff, worrying about the holidays, worrying about whatever it might be. Right, okay, we're here as a software experts with an accountancy spin on it to help you achieve your goals. But the biggest thing for us was actually just turning around to them and saying, what are you trying to achieve? What is it you're looking to do? What's your why and your purpose now? The amount of business owners that don't actually get asked that is unbelievable. Actually, it's scary, to be brutally honest. I think we as a profession have a duty of care to our clients to say, what is it you're trying to achieve and how can we help you do that? Don't just approach it from how do we actually get more fees on the back of that, but actually listen to the client. Because one thing I've learned, if somebody talks to me about my business, try shutting me up afterwards. Because actually business owners love
Yeah.
to talk about their business.
Yeah.
So
They do.
let's give them the option to do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's an interesting one, because there are a lot of accountants that have this notion that they are a trusted service provider that no one's ever going to switch from. But people switch from service providers all of the time.
Yep.
And if somebody is not giving you what you want, or like you said there, you've identified a few issues just by asking people about their business, and they're not getting that service, they're probably going to likely look to switch, which is the important bit of, and I had this conversation on LinkedIn yesterday. We were talking about, it was on Mark Lee's post, people talking about, I'm the leading this, I'm that. And actually, people don't care about you. Like if we're brutally honest, they don't care about your business. They don't care about what qualifications you have. They care about you understanding them and how you like the things you're going to do for them. So, you could have turned up and said like you did, we're accountants, we do this, we do that. You didn't do that. You went, hey, look, we are business mentors, but who are you? Like, what are you about? And that is, I think, one of the biggest ways that no matter where you do that, whether that's an expo, like expo, a webinar, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, whatever, if you lead with that message, you're going to engage and probably generate a lot more leads.
Yeah, definitely. But I think one of the biggest problems we've got now, again, as a profession, is we go out there, we go to Xero.com, we go to Accountex, we listen to experts like yourself, and we think, right, I better start doing that as well. And you end up actually trying to do everything. So you end up with a blog, you end up with a website, you end up with a landing page, you end up with text messages, you end up with videos on 5 different social media platforms. And then you've got me going, do beer mats. Actually, you know what? Do what's right for your business. Do what feels right. Do what your clients need you to do. So focus on, I was going to say a niche, but I'm not a huge fan of niching down in terms of the firm. My firm is not a niche firm, but do what your clients actually want. Be where they sit, be where they are. So if I'm looking for a client right now, I'm trying to find more mentoring clients. So I'm doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. And that works for me. If I start doing stuff on TikTok, I'm probably not going to get the type of clients I want. If I start sending out loads of newsletters, if they're targeted 100%, that will be right. But I think it's also about the message that you're putting out there as well. Last week, Tom, you actually challenged me about 10 days ago, and you went, you've been doing these videos all of June. Yep. You're not enjoying them as much, are you? No, not really. But it's a bit hard slog. I'd signed up for this 30-day challenge. Be more you. I think it was what you'd said or something along those lines. Be more you. Be real. That's what people want to hear. So stop playing safe. Right? Okay. And all of a sudden, I was me again. And I was actually, this is what I think you should do. Get off your backside. Go and do this. And all of a sudden, the engagement went through the roof, and I ended up with additional sales on the back of that. But that was just by actually a little tweak of the message I was putting out there. And I think it's really important to actually do that A/B type testing just to see what actually works and what doesn't.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As you know, I'm a massive believer in A/B testing. I am constantly, I'll put the same post out. I'll do it 2 weeks. I'll put the post out in a long form variation with a picture. Then I'll do a video, a small text in the video, and I'll see which one does best. I'm constantly testing. And yeah, we remember the conversation because I was saying I love what you're doing, but you're kind of like trying to be nice to everyone. And actually, the people that are the most successful polarize people. And it's not polarizing like being a horrible person or whatever. It's just polarizing people and saying, this is my view, and this is how you should, this is the things you should do. And people are going to connect or not connect. Is where if you say, this is my view, but I also understand this, people are like, well, what's your position? And when we look at maybe we shouldn't talk politics, but we look at politicians. Everyone people don't trust politicians because they're like, oh, we look at both sides of the fence. They want to know what is your position. No one ever answers that 100%. Question. But 100%. Look in the industry, like everybody that has done well is polarizing. Stuart Hurst is the extreme example, but people love it. If I'm a client and my accountant speaks to me one time a year, and I see Stu saying, your account's a dinosaur, I've just helped the client do this, I'm going to be like, okay, well, why is my account not doing that? And that's going to get my attention. Equally, people go, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. Yeah. But that's not his audience, which is, and that was, the conversation we had was just a little bit more polarizing.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is so right. It is. It's so right.
So we've talked about good stuff. What have you done that's just crashed and burned? And what kind of things did you learn?
Oh, do you know what? I did these events, right? And my first event was January 2012. And I ran an event called Screw Accountancy, How to Run Your Business from a Smartphone.
Okay.
Now, remember, it was January 2012 because actually every other accountant was all busy doing tax returns. And I was running an event and I had 40 people in a room and it was brilliant. And we signed up well over 20 odd. It was well over 50%. I can't remember the exact number now, but it was brilliant. So I replicated the event again and it fell flat on its backside. And I went, oh, it was just the location. So I did it again and it still fell flat on its backside. It was actually about the message. And what I learned was actually, if you're going to run an event, it's got to be different. It's got to be unique. You can't just rinse and repeat the event because people won't come to it. It was because that actually was around January. It was the new time of the year. It was when accountants were leaving stuff to the last minute. And that's why that one really worked. but a lot of events we ran just fell flat on the backside. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also putting yourself in the right place, because like you go to if you were to go, I don't know, tomorrow and speak to a bunch of accountants about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and your call to action is about small business clients using your services, all of those accountants there are going to be like, well, okay, well, this is great, but like there's nothing there for me. I just see what you're doing and I'm going to replicate it because you've asked me to speak to small business owners. So I think that's a large part. But yeah, the events is interesting, and I've definitely been there. I once held a breakfast meeting that had 10 people confirmed, 10 accountants confirmed, and one by one they all started dropping out. I got to the venue, went around and paid for everyone, like paid for everyone's breakfast, and I had one person turn up. I had initially 10, or by like the 2 days beforehand. Yeah. And then when I was there, I had 3 emails sit in my inbox. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Yeah. So I've been there, right there with you. When they work, they're great. When they don't work, you're just like,
and it stings,
head in hands.
It does. It stings, and you're like, what have I done? Yeah, what have I done?
Yeah. You're head in hands, and you're just like, oh goodness. And then you're thinking, how am I going to recover those costs as well? So that's quite interesting. I guess, what are you looking at the moment now? Because obviously trends and stuff change. What's your focus now?
In terms of marketing, it's we're struggling right now because actually, I'll take that back. We're struggling right now because we actually haven't got a clear strategy for the next 18 months. And that's something that we did have, but actually we've looked at it again and went, it's not good enough. It doesn't do what it is on the tin. So we're all about being a human accountant. We're all about the human aspects of the why, the purpose. But our marketing message hasn't been about that. Our marketing message has been about, we're accountants, come and join us and we'll do your accounts, we'll do your tax returns, we'll do actually that's polar opposites. What type of clients are you trying to attract? So we're spending quite a bit of time now actually working through who valued are. We've been following the book Traction, Gino Wickman, and saying, right, well, actually, what is our core values? When we get our core values, actually, they need to be more than just something on a website and on a wall. They need to actually be what we live and breathe. So we've got the people analyzer part coming in there as well. But actually, it's then a case of how does that impact on our marketing strategy? What is it we're trying to do? Now, one of the fortunate things we are in is we're getting new clients. Regardless of what we're doing, we're picking up new clients. We're probably picking up 4 to 5 new clients a month now, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's what we need to hit our targets. We're ahead of where we wanted to be from a new client acquisition point of view as a firm right now in July. But is it actually serving our purpose? Is it doing what we want to do? Not really. So what we're actually doing now is we're niching down into 3 different areas. The first area is what I class as small businesses. So it's probably what a lot of the people watching this webinar won't be looking for, right? So it is your builders, your plumbers, your smaller businesses, probably up to 500,000, 750 turnover is where we're actually aiming that for. Why? Because actually, I don't want to be one of those accounts that Stuart Hurst has talked about where I'll speak to you once a year, see you later. But actually, we can add a lot of value to those. Because if you've got someone that's making 20 grand, 50 grand profit, let's say it's 50 grand profit, you suddenly increase that by 10%. Actually, that's a family holiday. That's a big difference. So, and that's fitting with our why and our purpose. And we're trying to get more of those where we can help them and make a very quick impact on those clients. Another thing that we're also looking for right now is we're looking for people like you, Tom, right? So you've worked in the industry, you have a tax return to do, or you might have had a tax return to do in the past. And what we've got is we've got a lot of Xero account managers that we look after, we do their tax returns, but none of them actually tell anybody because of confidentiality. None of them want anyone to know what they're all earning and what the bonuses were and all this lot. So we're actually going to drill down and say, right, if you're working in the community and have a tax return to do, we want you as a client. So that is a separate landing page that we're going to build just for that type of clients. And then the third type of clients is the ones that want the mentoring, they want the training, they want the support, because that's important to us. Ultimately, we've then got the fourth block, which is the ones that we've been getting anyway, which is the full compliance service, but it's compliance plus. So it's actually, we want the end to end, we want the compliance, but then we want management accounts. We want you to do the bookkeeping, we want you to do the VAT returns and everything else in there as well. We're taking those on, But that's always been our focus. Focus is the fourth area, where actually in reality we want the first three. So we're in the process of rewriting our marketing plan around that.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, right? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I've got one client persona." And actually, you're saying we have 3, 4
Yeah.
different services, and like again, I'm there's that whole like website first, landing page. I know some people say put a landing page on your website, but in my head is right now you've got the valued web page that will have the different tabs and different web pages that people can click through. But then if you have just sole landing pages, hey, you can go here. All they're going to see is about their particular problem, pain, issues. As where if they go on your website, they're going to see all this other messaging.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things you said about you building these different landing pages. Actually, the reason you're doing that and you're not putting that on your website is because someone might come onto your website. They might go, okay, cool, this is great. Click to the valued homepage, have a read about you, and go, oh, actually, they're an accountant. Is that what I thought this was a business mentor? Then they have your social medias. As soon as they click one of those social medias, they're gone.
Yeah.
And that's, having that landing page is, for me, I'm always a big believer in that. And that's what's great there is, each landing page can be written to each persona. But the bit I really want to touch on, you said about breeding your value into, like your company values into your messaging. So I think that's crucial, right? You said an extra 10% increase in someone's business is a family holiday. And now, depending on your core values as an accountant, you might say an extra 10% is more tools so you can grow your business. An extra 10% is more money so you can save and invest elsewhere. Depending on what you're personally trying to do as a provider, will then connect with those people a lot more.
Yeah.
Have you, I mean, I'm presuming, you've kind of thought about that in extensive detail, but is that kind of the narrative there? It's like if we nail down our values, we're going to be able to cement our messaging to the right people.
100%. 100%. Because the challenge that we've got is we'll go to Accountex, we'll go to DAS, we'll go to XeroCon, all of these different things, and we'll get told advisory services, use AI. But actually, what a lot of people are forgetting is what is it that the client wants? We're all talking about what's going to make the firm money, what's going to make our processes simple, what's going to get us better efficiencies, what's going to give us more job satisfaction. But what about what our clients want? When was the last time we actually sat with a client and said, what is it you want to achieve? I remember sitting with a client years ago and saying, right, okay, you've got everything you need. What else did you want? What else do you want? He went, nothing, really. He'd moved he'd moved house because he wanted his daughter to go to a better school. They'd had the holiday, they'd done everything he wanted. And I said, right, come on, what else? And he went, there's nothing. I said, come on, really? There's something, what else? And he went, well, when I was a kid, I used to save 50 pences. Right, okay, where we're going with this one, right? Why I always wanted a Porsche. Right, okay. So let's build this in. Talk a bit more, bake it out a bit. I got a video a week and a half later, and he bought a Porsche. And
Result.
the video was him actually. I don't know whether you've ever seen a Porsche when you pick collected. I haven't, apart from this once. They have the big Porsche blanket over it. They pull the Porsche back, the blanket back, and all I heard was him going, "Wow." And then he turned and he went, "Thank you."
Yeah, and
I listened to a client. I filled his dream. I helped him get his dream from when he was a kid. Right. In reality, that's nothing to do with accounts, but actually, it's letting people do what they want to do. Now, we've got clients that want to grow the business, that want multi-million-pound businesses. They want whatever it might be, but not everybody wants that. But if we don't ask them what they want, then we can't help them. If we don't have it where our values are baked in what we do every minute of the day with every client, now all the marketing messages, we can't do that. That's why I'm using the human accountant right now, because it's about the human side of accountancy. It's about us helping our clients. Because actually, link it back to that day one back in 2011, Mum had cancer. I wanted to leave my old partnership I set up. All those clients wanted to help me because they thought I was a decent bloke that was going through a bit of hardship, and they wanted to support and help me. It was human. It's got forgot over the years, sadly. So therefore, we're dragging that back to where we were. And that's really, really interesting to me.
Yeah, and I think what you do really well is from a sales perspective. Like, and lots of people have their own analogies. For me, when you're speaking to somebody, everyone is an iceberg. The top bit is what they're going to tell you, and then the bottom bit is what they really want. What's really going on? Your value is about who is the human, and like you're sitting there and you're digging to actually really understand what does the human want, because like you said, this guy's dream has become true because he's always wanted a Porsche. You've made that happen. If you just stuck with his, I don't want anything, oh, maybe a little bit more money, you're here. That's where with the
Yeah.
human factor, the human accountant, you're here. And that comes from understanding your value, which has helped you sell better, right? Like at the end of the day, it's a sell. Now imagine going back to what you said earlier, maybe if you're an accountant listening to this and you've got a client in a similar position, imagine right now he gets an email and it says, scale of 1 to 10, how well did we do? Who else in your position do you know that would suit what we do? Likely that he's going to refer someone, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah, because I think the marketing message has changed so much. It used to be good enough for us to be number one in the country for Xero.
Mm,
We had the most clients using Xero for 3 years until KPMG
crazy.
and all the big boys came in, right? That was brilliant, and that worked for us. But you can't do that these days. You've got to have a big budget to actually get the marketing message out there to get enough coming in. What about
Mm.
actually just talking to the clients? What about asking for the referral? What about thinking differently? What about creating a landing page? What about being a human yourself and helping people within the industry? We can do that. And it's so easy to do, and it costs nothing or very little.
Yeah, exactly right. Like you can get, I know Brevo, a marketing platform, you can get a landing page with them. I think it's £10 a month. Like it's nothing. So I think we've certainly covered a lot of topics. I really like the beer mat. I'm a big believer in as much personalization to your market as possible, and that's really cool. Like, if you wanted to work with people that are drainage cleaners and car cleaners and stuff, likely chances are that they're going to have a power washer. Imagine you power washed your logo into the street outside their business.
Yep.
Like, I'm a bit, yeah. But anyway, that all aside, let's say somebody is at a position now where, so I tend to help people, that have been running for a while. They're at a point where they need to take that next step, or they want more leads, whatever it is, but they're trying to increase their lead generation. So just getting people from being in the atmosphere to speaking to them. What's the one thing they should do from your experience?
For me, get a pen and a bit of paper, get a card, right? Get a card and handwrite a card and send it to them. Stick it in the post. Be different. How often is it that we get generic emails? A lot. How often is it that we get different emails like what you've been sending out? Not very often, but it's brilliant when you get them. But how often is it we get a handwritten letter or a handwritten card? Not that often. But what I will guarantee you is that, and we've done this for years, is we send a client a card, and it's got to be a card that actually will, like a greetings card type of thing. If I send you one now, what would you do? You'd probably have it on that bookcase behind your back, right? So
Probably.
your
Yeah.
logo would be all over, my logo would be all over your stuff. I love that, right? But actually, why don't you write a card that just says, you know what? I drive past your place every day. I've seen you win this award. I've seen you do whatever. I really want to work with you. Can we have a cup of coffee? Can we have a chat?
Yeah.
Because you've actually paid a couple of quid for a stamp or whatever a stamp is these days, because you've taken the time to actually handwrite the card, what does it actually mean? It means that you care. I did a webinar with Go Proposal 2 weeks ago, and let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about. Donna Peters sent me a card,
Wow.
right?
Amazing.
I absolutely love that. That's sat on my desk, right? It's on the back of everything I do. Am I working with Donna? No, right? But what did I do? I went and checked all of her social media out. I said thank
But
you, because actually it was beautiful what she did. It was absolutely beautiful that she took that 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it was, to actually write that card and send it to me. Do that for your customers. Do that
I
for your
think
potential clients.
that's such a unique approach as well, right? Because you're like, wow, that's like you literally just said, that's amazing. This is the sort of thing that grabs my attention. And all Donna's really done is attend a webinar and then just write to the people she likes. Which is,
So
yeah,
simple,
that's,
isn't it?
and I think one of the biggest things people seem to think is if you post shit hot content on social media and you get loads of people viewing it, you're going to get loads of business. But actually, what people don't see is those things there. And I always refer back to the first podcast I did with Max Whiteley. Max would create 10 videos of people he just connected with on LinkedIn, specifically to his client. He wanted creative marketing agencies. And he would say, hi, love your profile. I work with people with your title, doing what you do. They have these problems. I'd love to chat about that. But if not, I enjoy, like, great to be connected. He was getting 2 in 10. We're taking an hour. So for an hour a week, you could get 2 more calls. And I think if everyone asks themselves right now, if you had 2 more calls a week added to your current pipeline, what impact would that make? Probably a good one, right?
Yeah, 100%. And what does it actually cost? Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. You can pick your phone up and you can do it on your phone.
And Luma's free. So
it's an absolute no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. But what it is it's the personal stuff again. It's not. If Don had sent me that in an email, where's it sitting? It's been filed away by now. But it's not. A week and a half later, I'm talking about the card that she wrote me. Thank you, Donna, if you're watching this.
Yeah, and yeah, what I've done. And the thing is, like, I'll probably clip this. We'll talk about it. And the last video post that I got about 4,000 impressions. So 4,000 people potentially might now see Donna. Me and Donna have never met or spoken, but just from one thing that she's done is now she's got tapped into my audience, which is mega. Okay, cool. Look, I think we've covered a lot, and I think it's been really, really cool. The highlight, obviously, is the personal touch. So, you said that you work with business owners, like SMEs in the trades. You also have your business mentoring element. Just really, really quickly, who are you working with and where can people find you? I will put your LinkedIn and stuff into this, but yeah, you just give us that snapshot.
Yeah, so I'm basically working with business owners that want to find out what their aim, what their purpose, what their passion is, and actually reignite that fire. I've been that business owner myself that struggled and thought, really don't want to do this anymore, but I've got the golden handcuffs. It's my business. I can't really walk away unless I'm selling it. So I actually did some stuff which actually got me a bit more passionate about my business again. So I want to work with business owners that are struggling like that. I want to work with business owners that actually need that bit of accountability. Where I'm at, I'm primarily on LinkedIn, a little bit on Instagram as well, but primarily on LinkedIn. And I'm always happy to have a conversation with anybody that just wants a bit of support. People like you over the years have helped me so much, Tom. I'm always grateful for that, and I always want to try and help and give back to the community as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
Perfection. What a way to close the show out. Right. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys.